I was on maximum dose of everything. I was on naproxen, I was on codeine and 8 Panadol a day. But I was out of that bed and walking in the corridor that evening. I couldn't believe it. So basically, I have a quality of life that I didn't have. I've been out in the garden, I've washed the car, I'm back driving. So look, anybody, don't be afraid, for God's sake, because I'll tell you what, you will have a life again. So it would be over 2 years I had the problem, that it was hurting and, you know, I was limping a little and etc. I was on maximum dose of everything. I was on naproxen, which is an anti-inflammatory, 500 milligrams twice a day, which is maximum dose. I was on codeine 240 milligrams a day, which is the maximum dose you're allowed, and 8 Panadol a day. I was over in Lanzarote in Playa Blanca. I was still able to travel, but getting all the assistance onto the plane and everything else, not walking up steps, not doing anything, complete assistance. And of course it's very flat there, I know it well. And I couldn't even walk 200 yards on the promenade. Now that finished me. It absolutely finished me. Because it was the first time I felt, well, you know, at home I was saying my quality of life is affected, but this takes the biscuit. So there and then I decided getting it done privately. And that was it, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. And then just decided they were fantastic. The whole way through, everybody has been fantastic from beginning to end. They went through all that with real care and you know, accuracy and everything. So they gave you plenty time and you know, nothing was rushed. Everything was at your pace. Went in the night before, operation the next day. Mr. Jane and the anaesthetist came to see me before the operation, on the morning of the operation. I didn't have much of an anaesthetic. I had a spinal injection, and I suppose I wasn't that worried about it, but I was a little bit worried about it because in the old days, because I was a nurse, in the old days, if you had spinal, you had to lie on your back, you weren't allowed up, you weren't, you know, for more than 6 hours, you know, or whatever, until the next day, you know. Things have changed, thank God. So took great care, had my spinal, they did the operation. And I even remember being wheeled into the recovery room. Now, you know, people think they're going to be out of it for hours. You know, you're not. I was joking with the nurses in the recovery room saying, we're going out for cocktails. What time are you finished? And I was wide awake. It wasn't the anaesthetic. I was wide awake. I think it was about 11 o'clock when I went down to the theatre, I think. 11, half 11, something like that. And I know I was back in my room at 3 o'clock. And I was able to text my nephew saying, it's over, I'm back in my room already. Now, you know, That's incredible. I had a cup of tea. I had some water first. I had a cup of tea practically within half an hour. I was just, by, was it 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock? I was out of that bed. The physio had come, explaining everything to me. She said she'd be back in the morning anyway, obviously before I went home. But I was out of that bed and walking in the corridor that evening. I couldn't believe it. No sickness. They gave me anti-sickness tablets as well. Everything sort of was prevention. They don't wait until you have a problem. And they said, if you have pain, let us know straight away, because we'll give you a breakthrough. You know, you do not have pain. Next morning, slept well, had a sleep, they gave me a sleeping tablet. Even though I was on my back, you know, you have to stay on your back. I slept well. Seen the next day by the physio, seen by the occupational health nurse. I was in for just 2 nights, the night before the operation and the night of the operation, and then I was home. Week to 10 days post-discharge, then I had to go back to the outpatient to get the dressing changed, and they looked at the wound and all the rest of it, and they changed the dressing then. So basically, I have a quality of life that I didn't have. I've been out in the garden, I've washed the car, I'm back driving. So look, anybody, don't be afraid, for God's sake, because I'll tell you what, you will have a life again. Woo! 2 months post.